Does life ever feel like a storm you just can't control? You get tossed around by the waves, you react, you get angry, and you lose your peace over things that were never in your hands to begin with. We're told constantly to be louder, to hustle harder, to shout our opinions from the rooftops. But what if the greatest power isn't in fighting the storm, but in becoming the lighthouse? What if real strength is quiet? The ancient Stoics were masters of this. They knew that while we can't control the world's chaos, we have total control over our inner world. And they honed 7 silent strengths, not grand, dramatic gestures, but quiet, daily habits that build an unbreakable mind and turn knee-jerk reactions into deliberate power. So, if you're tired of being tossed around by life, of constantly reacting and losing your calm, then this is for you. We're going to break down those 7 strengths and show you how to turn that chaos into clarity and that reactivity into a profound, quiet power. It all starts with a core truth of Stoicism. The real battle isn't with the world outside, it's with your reactions inside. That tiny space between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. That's where all your power is. So let's explore the first strength that helps you master that space. First up, the mastery of strategic silence. We all have that impulse, right? To fill every empty space with words. In a conversation, we rush to give our opinion. In a disagreement, we scramble to defend ourselves. But power doesn't always need to make an announcement. Often, it's the person who is comfortable with silence who truly controls the room. The Stoic philosopher Zeno famously said that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so we can listen more than we speak. Strategic silence isn't about being passive or scared to talk. It's a deliberate choice to observe, listen, and actually understand before you act. When you hold back, you give other people the space to reveal themselves. You stop reacting to their surface-level words and start seeing their real intentions. Silence becomes your tool for gathering wisdom. Think about a tense negotiation. The person who can't stop talking often reveals their anxieties and weaknesses. But the one who can hold a pause, who listens without immediately reacting, they project confidence and control. They make the other person fill the void, often giving up more ground than they planned. This isn't a mind trick. It's a display of inner stillness. You're signaling that you aren't desperate, that your peace doesn't depend on their approval. Try it in your own life. Next time someone's venting to you, fight the urge to jump in with solutions. Just listen. Be a comforting, silent presence. In a meeting, instead of speaking first, try absorbing everyone else's perspective. You'll find that when you finally do speak, your words carry so much more weight because they're measured and informed. This is step 1 to turning down the world's noise and tuning into your own wisdom. The second silent strength is the discipline of non-reaction. Let's be honest, life is going to provoke you. People will insult you, let you down, or just plain frustrate you. Your first impulse is to react, to meet anger with anger, to defend your ego. But the Stoics teach us a powerful lesson. Your calm is your ultimate weapon. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." The moment you engage with their negativity, you've already lost. You've let them dictate your emotional state. You've handed over the keys to your inner peace. Non-reaction isn't weakness, it's immense strength held in reserve. It's looking at a provocation and making a conscious choice not to let it disturb your tranquility. When you refuse to engage with an insult, Your silence doesn't mean you surrender. It signals that the comment is so far beneath you, it doesn't even warrant a response. Your calm makes their chaos look ridiculous, and your strength becomes undeniable. Imagine a colleague makes a passive-aggressive comment in a group chat. The knee-jerk reaction is to type up a furious, defensive reply, right? That just escalates the drama and drains your energy. The Stoic practitioner, however, reads the comment, feels that flicker of anger, and then deliberately lets it go. They know that responding only fuels the fire. Their silence lets the pettiness of the comment hang in the air, exposed for everyone to see, without them lifting a finger. This takes practice. Start small. When someone cuts you off in traffic, choose to breathe instead of curse. When you read a comment online that makes your blood boil, choose to close the tab. Each time you choose not to react, you're reclaiming your power. You're deciding that your inner peace is more important than any external nonsense. This third strength is the absolute bedrock of Stoicism, the key to unlocking a life free from so much anxiety. It's called the dichotomy of control. The philosopher Epictetus put it simply: some things are up to us, and some things are not. So, what's up to us? Our thoughts, our judgments, our choices, and our actions. And what's not up to us? Pretty much everything else. The weather, the economy, what other people think of us, our health, our reputation. Most of our suffering comes from trying to control what we can't, while we neglect the one area where we have total command, our own mind. True strength comes from focusing your energy only on what is yours to command. As Epictetus said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you stop worrying about what other people think, you're free to act with integrity. When you stop obsessing over outcomes, you're free to just focus on putting in your best effort. Think about a job interview. Most of us get stuck worrying, what if they don't like me? What if I'm not qualified enough? What if they're not even hiring? Our minds get consumed by things completely outside of our control. The Stoic, on the other hand, applies the dichotomy of control. They know they can't control getting the job. They can't control the interviewer's mood or the company's budget. So, what can they control? They can control how well they prepare, how much research they do. They can control their own thoughts, choosing confidence over fear. They can control how they conduct themselves with honesty and character. And then they let the outcome go. By focusing only on their own actions, they perform better and suffer a lot less. This isn't being passive. It's the ultimate form of strategic action. It's a quiet declaration that your self-worth doesn't depend on what happens on the outside. If these strengths are resonating with you and you want to keep building an unshakable mind, take a second to subscribe and join our community. We're all on this journey together. The fourth silent strength is starting each day with proactive intention. So many of us wake up already on defense. We grab our phones, and immediately our minds are flooded with emails, notifications, and whatever the outrage of the day is. We get pulled into a current of reactivity before we've even had a chance to set our own course. The Stoics taught that a good life is one of purpose, where your thoughts and actions are aligned. This starts the moment you wake up. Proactive intention is the quiet habit of taking a few moments each morning to decide what's important to you for the day ahead. It's a silent declaration of your priorities before the world tries to impose its own on you. Marcus Aurelius would start his mornings preparing for the difficult people he might run into. He'd remind himself that they act out of ignorance, not malice, and he would resolve to meet them with virtue anyway. This wasn't him being negative, it was strategic. He was setting up his inner fortress before the battle began. Your morning routine doesn't need to be some elaborate ritual. It can be just 5 minutes of silence before you reach for your phone. In that quiet, ask yourself, what's my main goal for today? What virtue do I want to practice? Patience, courage, kindness. What challenges might come up, and how can I decide right now to meet them with wisdom? This silent habit compounds over time. Your days become more focused. Your decisions get clearer. You start acting from a place of purpose, not impulse. You're no longer just a passenger in your own life. You're the one quietly and deliberately steering the ship. Our fifth silent strength is the power of the deliberate pause. Our world loves speed. Instant replies, quick decisions, fast solutions. But wisdom is almost never found in a rush. The Stoics knew that real intelligence lies in creating a space for reflection between a stimulus and a response. The deliberate pause is that space. It's a moment of intentional silence you create before you speak or act. In that pause, you give your rational mind a chance to catch up with your emotions. It's how you go from a knee-jerk reaction to a considered response. Think of this quiet moment as a shield, protecting you from your own worst instincts. Seneca advised that when you feel anger rising, you should do everything you can to delay your reaction. He even suggested looking in a mirror to see the ugly face of anger, or just walking away to let the heat fade. This isn't about suppressing your emotions, it's about not being a slave to them. For example, you get a stressful email and your first thought is to fire back a reply. Instead, take a deliberate pause. Get up, take a walk, or even just count to 10. In that space, ask yourself, what's the best way to respond? What response aligns with my long-term goals? By the time you get back to the email, your emotional temperature will have dropped and your reply will be far more strategic and effective. The deliberate pause is a silent act of self-mastery. It's the understanding that you don't have to respond to everything right away. In that quiet interval, you find your balance, your clarity, and the wisdom to act in a way you won't regret. This sixth silent strength might be the toughest one in our modern world: detachment from the need for external validation. We are wired to seek approval. We post our lives online and measure our worth in likes and comments. We bend ourselves into pretzels to please others, often at the expense of our own values. The Stoics taught that looking for validation from others is a form of self-enslavement. If you need someone else's praise to feel good, you've given them power over your happiness. If you're crushed by someone's criticism, you've made their opinion the master of your peace. Detachment is the quiet practice of finding your worth within. It's about doing the right thing for its own sake, not for the applause. This strength is practiced in silence. It's the decision to step back from people who undervalue you without a dramatic announcement. You demonstrate your value not by arguing for it, but by quietly withdrawing your energy from those who don't respect it. As Seneca wisely noted, time discovers truth. Imagine you worked hard on a project and it goes completely unnoticed. Worse, someone else takes the credit. Your gut screams for justice. It wants to complain and demand recognition. The Stoic mind, however, feels that sting of disappointment, but understands that the real reward was in the work itself, the effort, the focus, the skill that was built. The work was the reward. This doesn't mean you become a doormat. It just means your self-worth is not up for negotiation. You can still address the issue calmly and factually, but your inner peace doesn't hang in the balance. Practice this by doing good things anonymously. Learn a skill just for the joy of mastering it. Make decisions that align with your principles, even if they're unpopular. With each act of internal validation, you weaken the chains of external approval and build a quiet, unshakable confidence. The final silent strength brings us full circle, the discipline of restrained and meaningful speech. This is what happens when all the other strengths come together. When you've practiced strategic silence, non-reaction, the dichotomy of control, and all the rest, your relationship with words completely changes. You no longer feel the need to fill every silence, react to every provocation, or speak just to be heard. You understand that most of what is said is just noise. As Epictetus advised, be silent for the most part, or say only what is necessary and in few words. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about making your words count. Restrained speech comes from a place of deep self-awareness. It's filtering out the trivial and the reflexive, and only speaking when your words can add value, clarity, or kindness. This is when your quietness becomes a form of mastery. When you speak less, people listen more. Your words have weight because they aren't watered down by constant chatter. Think of the most respected person you know. Do they talk all the time? Or do they speak thoughtfully, with precision and purpose? Powerful people often speak less because they know real influence isn't about volume, it's about impact. You can practice this by trying to eliminate filler words from your vocabulary. Before offering an opinion, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this helpful? Is this kind? This one practice can transform your relationships. People will feel heard around you because you're actually listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk. You become a source of calm in a noisy world. Your silence becomes just as meaningful as your words, because both now come from a place of deep, intentional strength. So there they are, the 7 silent strengths that can truly transform your life. The strength of strategic silence, the strength of non-reaction, the strength of the dichotomy of control, the strength of proactive intention, the strength of the deliberate pause, the strength of detachment from validation, and the strength of restrained meaningful speech. These aren't passive habits, they're active disciplines that require daily practice. But through them, you shift from a life of chaotic reaction to one of deliberate action. You stop being a leaf blown about by the wind and become the deeply rooted tree that stands firm in the storm. The world will always be noisy. People will always be unpredictable. But your true power lies in the quiet strength you build within. It's not about changing the world, it's about making sure the world doesn't change you. Start today. Start quietly. Which of these 7 strengths will you start practicing first? Let us know in the comments below. Your journey inspires all of us. And if you found this valuable, subscribe and turn on notifications for more wisdom on building an unshakable life. The path to inner peace is a journey, not a destination, and we're here to walk it with you.